Coming up on today's show, how you can obtain a land title and how to access legal aid. Hello, I am Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching Jamaica Magazine. We have these and much more, so stay with us. First, we have the day's news.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, January 25. The 3 members of the Emergency Powers Review Tribunal have been named to deal with any issues arising from the security forces' operations under the state of public emergency in St. James. The tribunal members are former president of the Jamaica Bar Association, Ian Wilkinson, Swallowfield Chapel's leader, Pastor David Henry, and retired Supreme Court Judge, Justice Lloyd Hibbert. They will be responsible for adjudicating on appeals brought by or on behalf of persons detained under the powers granted to the security forces in the state of public emergency. The tribunal, which was gazetted on Wednesday, will function through the Ministry of National Security. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is working quickly to ensure that adequate resources are in place to preserve the human rights of persons detained under the state of public emergency in St. James. Since the start of the operation, over 200 persons have been detained. The Prime Minister says government is aware of and acting on complaints raised by human rights advocates and the families of detainees about the environment in which they are being held.
I am monitoring the reports. I've seen where there are complaints, and the government will respond to ensure that resources are available to ensure that those who are detained during the state of emergency have the minimum standards required for ensuring that we fulfill our human rights obligations.
The Prime Minister was speaking at his quarterly press briefing at Jamaica House Wednesday. And as government puts strong measures in place to curb the crime rate, the issue of corruption in the police force is also being tackled. National Security Minister Robert Montego says this is important to restoring and maintaining public trust in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, which impacts its effectiveness in investigating crimes. Among the measures being organized is an early retirement scheme, which will be implemented as an exit measure.
The new policy is with the Commissioner. He fully understands the issue of corruption and the overall impact that it has on the reputation of the organization, and has committed to begin the utilization of that important tool to hasten the transition of members of the force at all levels who are tainted by corruption or otherwise ineffective.
The Security Minister says funds have been identified through the Ministry of Finance to underwrite the activity. In other news, the Port Authority of Jamaica, PAJ, has initiated steps to recover payments made to 14 former executives without the required approvals. It stems from recommendations in a 2016 Auditor General report, which found that the 14 executives' contracts had a provision for the payment of a discretionary retirement benefit. They also received a contract gratuity of 25% of gross taxable income, but the AG says requisite approval was not sought from the Ministry of Finance prior to the payment, which breaches ministry guidelines. Prime Minister Andrew Holness updated Parliament on the issue Tuesday, pointing out that 2 of the former executives challenged the matter in the Supreme Court, but the case was dismissed on November 30 last year.
The recently retired executives have filed an appeal against the court's decision. No date has been set for the hearing of the appeal. In the circumstances, unless and until the Court of Appeal makes a different ruling, the Port Authority and the government will be guided by the decision of the Supreme Court.
The Finance and Public Service State Minister, Rudyard Spencer, is proposing a change in the way public sector wage negotiations are handled to try and expedite the process.
We have a situation where all public sector workers come up for review at the same time. That by itself makes it impossible to grant the wages that normally they would or could get. So my suggestion is to look at all the public sector workers, police, teachers, nurses, Confederation of Trade Union Workers, all these people, and select one. Because when you are finished with that one, you won't have the amount of allowances now obtained, but you will have carried the salaries to a level that is acceptable in today's Jamaica.
The minister was speaking on Monday at a forum on public sector wage negotiations hosted by the Hugh Lawson Shearer Trade Union Education Institute at the University of the West Indies. And finally, government is on the hunt for 2 major reggae products. A $100 million loan fund has been established for entertainment entrepreneurs to implement these products. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the funds will be provided by the Exim Bank under the Tourism Small Business Loan Facility.
For us, tourism is not just about working at a hotel. For us, it's about innovation. For us, it's about adding value. For us, it's about entrepreneurship. But a product is a far more sustainable activity which has with it an economic sustainability quotient built in with employment.
Minister Bartlett was speaking Monday night at the launch of February's Reggae Month activities. He also revealed that the Tourism Enhancement Fund will be spearheading the construction of an entertainment center in Montego Bay. $50 million will be set aside during the next fiscal year for the design of the center, which is to be completed by the year 2020. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The National ID will protect your identity. In these modern times, we all need protection from fraud and identity theft. We're moving Jamaica into the modern era, where your privacy is top priority. Your fingerprint and your picture will secure your ID. This is no different from when you apply for a visa or a passport. Get the facts at nidsfacts.com. NIDS is here for your protection.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security continued to provide support to Jamaica's working and vulnerable population in 2017. The year got off to a good start as the Labour Minister dispatched 2017's first batch of farm workers to Canada early in January. Later in the year, Jamaican farm workers and their employees at the Gebbos Farm in Washington awarded $650,000 in academic grants to 13 students from various schools in Clarendon. On the policy front, the 19-member Labour Reform Commission completed and presented the Reform Agenda Report for Jamaica in July.
It will strengthen the Ministry's mandate for human capital development, empowerment of vulnerable groups in the society, and incorporate more Jamaicans in the development process.
Meanwhile, the Occupational Safety and Health Bill, aimed at protecting the safety and health of all workers, was tabled in Parliament. And both Houses of Parliament passed 2 critical bills, paving the way for the reform of pension arrangements for employees in the public sector.
The affordability of public sector pensions is a matter of grave concern, and with it, not only the well-being of our economy, but clearly the well-being of our workers.
The Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH was government's main vehicle for Social Security intervention in 2017. Those registered on the program received a 30% bump in their benefits on June 1. 17 tertiary-level students were awarded scholarships totaling $15 million to mark the 15th anniversary of PATH. $220 million in bursaries and grants were also provided to tertiary students and those transitioning from secondary schools.
This is intellectual capital investment, and we want to implore Jamaican families to secure the future now for the next generation by investing in their children's education. Send the children to school, encourage them to do well, and the government will help to further their educational pursuits.
The ministry also announced the spending of $115 million to transport students on the PATH. And during the year, Cabinet approved the PATH graduation strategy to provide employment opportunities for beneficiaries. Those exiting the program will get access to funds over a 6-month transition period with provision for a reapplication exercise every 4 years. The Labour and Social Security Ministry also provided targeted intervention for persons with disabilities in 2017. The Kingston Early Stimulation Program Assessment Centre and Multipurpose Complex was upgraded to provide improved care for early childhood children at the 95 Hanover Street facility.
This modern center represents and provides a new lease on life for children with disabilities whose well-being and welfare will be further enhanced.
Following that, ground was broken in April for the expansion of the Stimulation Plus Early Childhood Development Center in Eastern Kingston at a cost of $70 million. Meanwhile, the Jamaican Association on Intellectual Disabilities commissioned into service a vertical wheelchair lift to provide easier access for persons with mobility challenges. The Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities launched a $58 million partnership with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and Digicel Foundation to promote the rights of persons with disabilities. Through the ministry's Social and Economic Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities project in Western Jamaica, 502 persons were trained in vocational, customer service, and life skills. 275 of them were placed in organizations for at least 6 months to gain work experience and exposure. In 2017, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security also focused attention on advancing the development of a national registry for senior citizens.
The registry will seek to capture data on all our senior citizens and lay the foundation for the government to better address their needs.
When flood rains devastated several homes in May, the ministry commenced distribution of relief funds to 30 persons in St. Catherine.
It is my hope this afternoon that the financial assistance being provided will fill some immediate needs, and I encourage you to use this one-off assistance wisely.
The ministry also provided assistance to 150 residents of Montego Bay whose houses and other belongings were destroyed by the heavy rains that swept through sections of the city on November 22. And to situate itself for more development intervention beyond 2017, the ministry broke ground in October for the construction of a new St. Anne Parish office. Construction will cost $513 million, but with plans to rent some of the 27,000 square feet of office space, the venture should generate income of $26.62 million per year.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is committed to providing quality service to our clients and, by extension, to ensuring that the working conditions of our valued employees are of the best quality.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security in 2017, advancing prosperity for Jamaican workers and the most vulnerable in society.
Look inside the drum. Those are the Aedes aegypti larvae, the one that causes dengue fever. If all of these larvae mature to be adults, and if the female larva bites someone with the dengue fever, it will acquire the dengue virus. And if that mosquito bites you, you will get it.
dengue fever?
Yes. Help prevent the spread of dengue.
Clean up your home and community.
Destroy mosquito breeding sites.
Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Prevent dengue fever.
Land is an important asset that everyone wants to have. Whether you buy or it is given to you, it's important to have your name on the title. How do you do that? Our next feature tells you how.
A certificate of title is proof of ownership, a valuable document that can only be obtained from the National Land Agency, the NLA. Applying for a land title is fairly straightforward, but the process can prove difficult without the right expertise. Let's start with the documents you will need. To apply for a land title, you must have all of the following documents: a completed application form signed by the applicant, a statutory declaration to prove possession. This is a written statement confirmed by oath. A supporting statutory declaration to prove ownership rights by possession from two persons who have known the land for at least 30 years. A current certificate of payment for property tax. Payments must be up to date. And any other document you may have that proves ownership, such as a receipt, conveyance, probate, certificate of compliance under the Facilities for Titles Act. Your lawyer or officers of the Land Administration and Management Program, LAMP, may help you complete the application form and gather what you need. Once you've done that, the Land Title Division of the National Land Agency here at 93 Hanover Street is where you should go next. Follow me inside as I process my documents. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Alison. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Everything seems to be going very well.
Perfect.
Now that I have submitted my application and paid the relevant registration fees, how and when will I know if my application is approved?
Well, what you should do, Alison, ensure that you have that document number that you have when you got the receipt. You can call our customer service representative, provide them with the document number, say about 3 weeks after the lodgement date, and they will be able to tell you whether or not the application has been approved or it has been rejected.
What are the processes that my application goes through before it is approved?
Basically, it's a 3-tier process. The first tier involves, we will do internal checks. We will do like a card check to ensure that the land is not formally registered. We will also submit your survey diagram, if one was submitted with the application, to the Surveys and Mapping Department to ensure that a title is not in existence for the land. Thereafter, the documents will be submitted to a legal officer for checking. Once the documents are checked by the legal officer, if they are in a state that can be submitted to the referee, they will thereafter be submitted to the referee of titles for provisional approval.
So what if my title is lost or is destroyed? What is the procedure to replace that certificate?
Okay, the procedure is that you need to submit to the Registrar of Titles a declaration. The declaration will set out all the facts pertaining to the loss of the title. For example, if it was destroyed by fire, you would state that when it was destroyed by fire, and you'd also need to submit a fire report if it was reported to the fire brigade. It's really a declaration that is deposed to by you and witnessed by a justice of the peace. And you would submit that along with a copy of the title and pay our registration fees of $100.
Thanks, Joan. You've given me a lot of information. For more information, call 946-LAND. That's 5263. You may also send an email to asknla@nla.gov.jm.
Parents, how do you think your children feel when they are beaten?
I feel so sad when my mother beats me.
It makes me feel so angry.
I feel embarrassed, and I feel like you just don't care.
It has been proven that coercive parenting is directly linked to the aggression your children are displaying in schools. The National Parenting Support Commission is imploring you, parents, rethink your actions. Stop beating your children.
A message from the National Parenting Support Commission in collaboration with Ministry of Education, Youth and Information for improved safety and security in schools.
Cervical cancer, caused by the human papillomavirus, HPV, is a major public health concern in Jamaica. Almost 50% of the women diagnosed each year die from this preventable disease. To prevent cervical cancer and save lives, the Ministry of Health is providing the bivalent HPV vaccine to girls ages 9 to 14 years free of cost. Parents, give your girls a fighting chance against this deadly disease. The bivalent HPV vaccine is safe and provides 90 to 100% protection against HPV type 16 and 18, which are responsible for most HPV-caused cancers. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line 1-888-1-LOVE or 1-888-663-5683 for more information, or email us at hpvinfo@moh.gov.jm. You can also find further information on the website moh.gov.jm, as well as the Ministry of Health's social media channels.
With the state of public emergency now in place for St. James, the Ministry of Justice is providing legal representation for persons who are detained. This will be done through the Legal Aid Council. The services offered by the council are free of charge and includes advice and supervision of the case. Here's more of what you should know.
We want justice! We want justice!
Stop! In search for justice? Don't go screaming to the streets. The government's legal aid clinic is at your service. Detained by the police? Out on bail? Have a criminal matter before the courts? Seek legal representation through the council. It's free, free, free. A lawyer is assigned and justice is served. There are more than 300 lawyers on the legal aid panel, providing advice and court representation among other legal assistance.
Legal aid is that program that seeks to assist Jamaicans in matters where they are held in custody.
You are entitled to duty counsel if you are held in custody for any of these criminal matters: larceny, carnal abuse, rape, murder, manslaughter, illegal possession of firearm, shooting with intent, receiving stolen goods, and breach of copyright laws. It's at no cost. There are two types of services provided by the Legal Aid Council: duty counsel and legal aid. Early stages of arrest, persons are entitled to duty counsel. It provides legal assistance to persons facing police questioning or an identification parade.
What about duty counsels who, when given a case to take before the court to, help you get off, they complain about wages that they receive, and more time you don't even see counsel for 5 times you're in the court.
Yes.
And counsels don't come and represent you, none at all.
If that lawyer is consistently absent in a matter to be tried in court for which legal aid is granted, then we can revoke the assignment and the lawyer will not be paid, sir.
You can ask for legal aid once you get before the court. Legal aid is provided for criminal trials, with the exception of some drug offenses and money laundering matters.
Jamaicans are also entitled to legal aid if they have a matter, they have been charged and they have a matter before the court for which is to be tried. So you are entitled to be assigned a lawyer.
There are 3 easy steps to follow when seeking legal aid. Step 1. Get an application form from any police station, post office, legal aid clinic, or court's office. If you are under 18 years old, your parent or guardian or any other adult may apply on your behalf. Step 2. Take the application form to any one of the following places: the court's office, the legal aid clinic, the registrar of the gun court, or the registrar of the Supreme Court. Step 3. Your form will be assessed, and if approved, an attorney will be assigned to your case. Please remember, you may be asked to pay a part of your legal fees if you can afford to. The government is determined that financial disability should not prevent anyone from getting justice. If you need assistance or know someone who does, visit or call the Kingston Legal Aid Clinic, 131 Tower Street, telephone 922-3792 or 922-3556. The Montego Bay Legal Aid Clinic at 17 Orange Street in Montego Bay, telephone 952-2183, or the Norman Manley Law School's Legal Aid Clinic at the University of the West Indies, Mona.
If the call centers in Jamaica have to shut down, you know how many people would lose them work?
Thousands.
If the tourists stop come to Jamaica, you know how many people would have suffered?
Hundreds of thousands. People, don't skin up with no scammer. Don't take them blood money. It is killing Jamaica. Help put them away.
Silence brings violence.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
We are children and we have rights. We have a right to be
protected,
provided for,
and included.
Don't beat me up, don't belittle me, and please don't molest me.
I am under 13. I should not be working for a living.
That is child labor. It is illegal.
Stop leaving me alone. I am too young to provide for myself. I need your guidance.
Protect our nation's children. They have rights too. To learn more about children's rights, call or visit the offices of the Child Development Agency.
We've come to the end of our show, but certainly not the end of our connection. Just click on our website, jis.gov.jm, and while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. Join us again tomorrow for another program. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.